All right, let's dive into this one. Stephen Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah.
You know, you gave us a lot here. Articles, your own notes, even like, I think, excerpts from the book itself.
It's a good book.
Yeah, so it seems like you're ready to really, like, I don't know, unlock some serious wisdom.
Yeah, I'm excited.
What really stood out to me is this, Covey's work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not some fad. It's not some,
Yeah,
it's
painless.
Yeah, it resonates with people from, CEOs to military leaders and, I mean, even Jim Collins, right? Good to great.
Yeah.
He highlights how Bill Gates, used Covey's principles.
Yeah.
Proactivity.
During the rise of the personal computer.
Right.
Yeah.
And
it wasn't just luck. Like he saw the opportunity and he seized it.
Yeah.
And that's a great example of what Covey calls the character ethic.
Okay.
It's this foundation built on timeless principles.
Okay.
And it's not about surface level techniques. It's about who you are, not just what you do.
I like that.
Oh.
Okay, so let's unpack this idea.
Yeah.
Character ethic versus personality ethic.
Okay.
Covey really seems to be challenging those quick fix promises.
Right. He's not about the quick fix.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
So he's suggesting that true effectiveness comes from something much deeper than just,
like those outward techniques that are promoted by the personality ethic.
Exactly.
He illustrates this with a story about his own son who was struggling in school. At first they tried all the usual techniques, to improve his grades.
Yeah.
But the real change came when they looked inward and focused on their own character and perceptions.
So it's like checking your own baggage before trying to fix someone else.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a trap that we all fall into.
Yeah.
Have you ever found yourself like stuck in that? That cycle of focusing on appearances or quick fixes only to hit a wall.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where Covey introduces this idea of paradigms. And he defines these as the lens through which we see the world.
Okay.
And our paradigms shape our perceptions.
Yeah.
And ultimately, they drive our behavior.
To illustrate this, he uses that classic optical illusion.
The old woman, young woman, yeah.
It's a powerful way to show how our perspective shapes what we see.
Absolutely. And sometimes our paradigms can lead to misjudgments.
Right.
Like Covey himself experienced when he misinterpreted a man's behavior on the subway.
Oh, wow.
His entire perspective shifted when he discovered that the man's wife had just passed away.
It's a reminder that we often only see a fraction of what's really going on. Makes you think about times when your own perspective on something has dramatically changed. Like, what caused that shift and what did you learn from it?
That's a great point, those paradigm shifts. They're crucial because they allow us to see new possibilities and make more effective choices. And this leads us to Covey's concept of the maturity continuum, which outlines the progression from dependence to interdependence.
Right. He talks about those 3 stages: dependence, where you rely on others; independence, where you take responsibility for yourself;
yes.
And then finally, interdependence, where you collaborate and achieve synergy with others.
That's right, like a natural progression of growth.
Yeah.
You can't reach true interdependence without first mastering independence.
Okay, so the first 3 habits are all about achieving those private victories.
Yeah.
Right, the personal mastery that forms the foundation for effective interdependence.
He uses this great analogy to explain this. Imagine planting a crop, right?
Okay.
You can't harvest before you plant.
Yeah.
Similarly, public victories.
Yeah.
Those successes that we achieve with others only come after we've cultivated those private victories. Okay.
Of self-mastery.
So it's like tending to our own personal gardens before we can share the harvest with others.
Exactly.
That makes sense. So let's dive deeper into these private victories.
Okay.
Covey seems to really emphasize habit to begin with the end in mind.
It's important.
It sounds like some serious life planning.
It is. It is. He challenges us
Yeah.
to define our mission and values.
Okay.
He even suggests this powerful visualization exercise.
Okay.
Imagine your own funeral.
Oh, wow.
What would you want people to say about you? What legacy would you want to leave behind?
That's heavy stuff.
It is.
But I get it. I mean, it forces you to think about what really matters.
Yeah.
It's about living with intention, right?
Exactly. And that leads to the idea that all things are created twice.
Okay.
First mentally, then physically.
Okay.
Think of building a house, right? You wouldn't just start hammering away.
No.
You have a blueprint.
Yeah.
A mental creation.
Yeah. That guides the physical construction.
So Covey's saying we need a blueprint for our lives.
Absolutely.
That's a powerful metaphor.
It is.
What does your blueprint look like?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Are you living by your own values or by someone else's script?
It's easy to get caught up in the daily grind and lose sight of those core principles.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And that brings us to habit 3, put first things first.
Okay.
This sounds like classic time management, but,
Yeah.
you know, I suspect Covey takes it a step further.
I think so, yeah. It's not just about, like, ticking off tasks.
No. It's about aligning your actions with your priorities.
Okay.
Those values you identified in habit 2.
Right.
He argues that we need to focus on what truly matters, not just what's urgent.
He introduces the time management matrix, right?
Right.
Where he breaks down tasks based on urgency and importance.
Yes.
And it seems like we often get bogged down by things that are urgent but not actually important.
Yeah, that's a common pitfall. You know, we let those urgent but unimportant tasks dominate our time,
Right.
neglecting activities that contribute to our long-term goals and well-being,
Mm-hmm.
like planning, relationship building, personal
So
development.
the quadrant 2 activities, right?
Exactly.
Important but not urgent.
Yes.
And they often get pushed aside even though they're the real game changers.
Yes, and Covey challenges us
Yeah.
to prioritize those quadrant 2 activities,
Mhm.
to invest our time and energy in what truly matters,
Yeah.
even if it doesn't feel urgent in the moment.
It takes discipline, but I can see how mastering those first 3 habits,
Yeah.
those private victories,
Right.
sets the stage for more effective interactions with others.
Absolutely.
Which leads us to the public victories.
Yes.
Starting with habit 4.
Mm.
Think win-win.
Okay.
This habit shifts our focus from independence to interdependence.
Yes.
And it's about recognizing that our success is intertwined with the success of others. And Covey argues that most people are stuck in a win-lose mentality.
It's true.
Right. But that approach ultimately limits everyone's potential.
Yes, and he shares this powerful story about a software company president who walked away from an $84,000 contract
Wow.
because it wasn't a true win-win situation.
Yeah.
The client was initially upset, but later returned with a $240,000 deal, recognizing the president's integrity and commitment to finding a mutually beneficial solution.
It's a great example of how sticking to principles can lead to unexpected rewards. Makes you think about those times when we settle for less than a win-win outcome.
Yeah, think about a negotiation or a disagreement that you might be facing right now. Is there a win-win solution that you haven't considered yet?
Right.
You know, it's always worth exploring those possibilities.
Absolutely, and that exploration often requires a deeper understanding of the other person's perspective,
Yes.
which is where habit 5 comes in. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This seemed like a crucial element of effective communication.
It is. It is. Covey emphasizes the importance of empathetic listening.
Okay.
He compares it to a doctor diagnosing a patient before prescribing medication.
Right.
You wouldn't trust a doctor who throws out solutions without first understanding your symptoms right now.
Of course not.
It's about going beyond just hearing words.
Yeah.
And truly grasping the other person's needs and concerns.
And that understanding is crucial for creating those win-win solutions we talked about.
Absolutely. It's like with that optical illusion, if we're both stuck in our own paradigms, we miss the bigger picture.
Right.
You know, the potential for a third alternative.
Yeah.
That could be even better than our initial ideas.
That's a great connection. And this leads us to habit 6, synergize.
Okay.
This habit takes that understanding to the next level,
Yeah.
recognizing that collaboration can lead to something greater than the sum of its parts.
It's that +1 = 3 concept, where different perspectives combine to create something truly innovative.
And Covey even recounts how he once revised an entire course curriculum
Yeah.
based on the synergistic insights that emerged from open communication and collaboration among his students.
It's amazing. It highlights the power of letting go of our own agendas
Right.
and being open to new possibilities.
How do we create that kind of environment where synergy can flourish?
That goes back to those private victories.
Okay.
You know, building trust, valuing differences, seeking to understand.
Yeah.
These are all foundations for effective synergy.
Yeah, we've covered the 6 habits that lead to those private and public victories,
Right.
those personal and interpersonal transformations.
Yeah.
But Covey doesn't stop there.
No, he adds habit 7.
He has habit 7. Sharpen the saw?
Yeah.
It almost feels like a bonus habit.
It's not just a bonus. It's essential.
Okay, yeah.
This habit is all about renewal,
Right.
ensuring we have the capacity to keep practicing the other 6 habits effectively.
So you can't just keep going and going without taking care of yourself.
Exactly. He uses the analogy of a lumberjack who keeps sawing away at a tree without taking time to sharpen the saw.
Right.
Eventually, the saw becomes dull and ineffective.
Makes sense. We can't keep giving our best if we're not taking care of ourselves.
Right.
What are the key elements of sharpening the saw?
Well, Covey outlines 4 dimensions of renewal:
Yeah.
physical, spiritual, mental, and social emotional.
So it's a holistic approach
Yes.
to self-care. So physical renewal is about things like exercise, nutrition, and rest.
Right.
And spiritual renewal might involve connecting with our core values, finding meaning in life.
Exactly.
And mental renewal could involve, reading, learning, or engaging in creative pursuits.
Yes.
And social emotional renewal focuses on nurturing relationships, building strong connections with others.
That's right. And he emphasizes that these 4 dimensions are interconnected.
Yeah.
Neglecting one area can have a ripple effect on the others.
Makes sense.
It's about finding that balance.
And he argues that this habit of renewal is fundamental to all the other habits.
Yes.
It's the wellspring from which our effectiveness flows. So it's not just about achieving a certain level of success and then coasting.
No, it's about continuous growth.
Yeah.
And improvement, constantly sharpening the saw
Okay.
to become more effective in all areas of life.
It's like that upward spiral that Covey talks about.
Exactly.
As we sharpen the saw, we become more capable of living the other habits at a higher level.
That's right. And that upward spiral can create a ripple effect,
Yeah.
impacting not just our own lives, but also the lives of those around us.
So it seems like Covey lays out a pretty powerful roadmap, for like personal and interpersonal effectiveness.
It is.
But I'm curious, how do we apply these habits in a world that often feels, so chaotic and unpredictable?
Well, that's where the power of those private victories really shines.
Sure.
When we cultivate our character, clarify our values, and prioritize what truly matters, we become more resilient in the face of challenges.
So it's not about having all the answers, right?
No.
It's about having that inner strength and clarity.
Yes.
To navigate those inevitable storms.
Exactly. And remember, the 7 habits aren't just a one-time fix.
Yeah.
They're principles for lifelong learning and growth.
So it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. It's that upward spiral we talked about, continually sharpening the saw, refining our habits, and deepening our understanding.
And it sounds like embracing Covey's philosophy isn't just about achieving external success.
No.
Right? It's about becoming a more integrated, principle-centered person.
That's the heart of it. It's about aligning our actions with our values, creating a life of integrity, and contributing to something larger than ourselves.
That's a powerful vision. But I imagine putting these principles into practice isn't always easy.
It's not.
What advice would you give to someone who's, just starting to explore Covey's work?
Well, I'd say start small. Choose one habit that resonates with you.
Okay.
And focus on implementing it in your daily life. Don't get overwhelmed by trying to do everything at once.
So maybe start with something like be proactive.
Yeah.
I mean, that feels like a good foundation for all the other habits.
It is. Focus on those things you can control.
Yeah.
Make conscious choices. And take responsibility for your actions.
Yeah.
And remember progress over perfection.
Yeah.
It's a journey of continuous learning and growth.
Well, this deep dive has been incredibly insightful. We've explored the paradigm shift from personality to character ethic.
Yeah.
The progression from private to public victory. And of course, the importance of continuous renewal.
Right.
We've unpacked those 7 powerful habits.
Yes.
Drawing on real-life examples and practical applications.
We have.
And hopefully you now have a clearer understanding of how these principles can transform your life.
I hope so.
Helping you achieve greater effectiveness, deeper meaning, and lasting fulfillment.
This powerful framework.
It is. So as you continue exploring Covey's work, just remember that the journey starts with a single step. Choose a habit, start small, and just watch as those small changes create a ripple effect.
Yes.
Transforming your life from the inside out.
Absolutely.